back to Girl Crush Country, where we are obsessed with women in country music. I'm Jess Wright in Nashville, Tennessee, and this week's guest has been putting out great music for the last 8 years or so, and showing up in all kinds of magazines for the last couple of years, too. We're going to talk about all of that. Hey, Karissa Ella.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm glad you could come by.
I'm so excited.
How was your CMA Fest?
CMA Fest is like Christmas. It's like, but it's chaos at the same time. But it was so much fun. I loved it. I love getting to see my friends play. I love getting to see my favorite artists play. It's the best. It was good.
I did see you with Randy Travis, so that had to be a highlight.
I had to snag a picture, of course, because he's amazing. And yeah, of course it's a highlight seeing Randy and Mary. They're just the sweetest people, and they're always down for a picture. So.
And like the week before, you had posted a killer cover of Three Wooden Crosses. It's like you manifested it. Or have you stayed in touch since that time you performed for him a few years ago?
We definitely have stayed in touch on and off. But yeah, that was so crazy. I didn't know I was going to run into him. But they're celebrating 40 years of his album and his legacy. So I should have known. But I'm just such a big fan of him. So it was really, anytime you get to see the Randy Travis in the flesh, it's always just such a treat. So it was cool.
Well, not everybody knows that story about when you performed for him. Yeah. Do you want to share it?
Of course. I got to sing a Randy Travis song for Randy Travis. And I didn't know Randy Travis was going to be right beside me when I was doing it. So I picked He Walked on Water. I love that song so much. And I didn't know the meaning of the phrase heart beating out of your chest until that very moment, because my heart was quite literally beating out of my chest because I was just couldn't believe I was singing a song, Randy Travis song for Randy Travis. Like, I got to get it right. I got to do my best here. And it was, what a full circle moment. Randy Travis, of course, I grew up listening to him, playing in our household. My great grandma Ella, who I'm named after, she really, really just used his music as a crutch to get through the loss of her husband. And so that song has been passed down through all the generations, and it's a very meaningful one. So I know my great grandma Ella was like, holy cow, you're meeting Randy Travis today. That's amazing. And we've been able to have a great friendship ever since. So very full circle moment.
That's so cool. I can't imagine having to push through all that nervousness.
I listen back and I'm like, I hear only nerves, but it was that was one of my biggest pinch me moments that I've had. So I'm forever grateful for it, and I'll take all the nerves, because it was a nerve-wracking day, but it was the best day.
And probably you're the only one that could hear all the nerves.
That's true. Everyone says that, right? But we're our own worst critic. But it was
for sure.
Oh, truly one of the best days. So.
Well, you first came on my radar back in 2019. You had a song called Me and Luke, which, of course, is about Luke Bryan and how much you love him.
Yes.
So obviously the most important question I can ask you today is, have you met him, and has he heard the song? Okay, that's 2 questions.
I have no idea. You know, that song is so silly. I wrote it with my friend Alex Heyer and Leslie Satcher, and Leslie Satcher's a really great songwriter here in town. She's written Troubadour by George Strait and a lot of Martina McBride songs, and it was just meant to be a silly, funny song. Like, because what started out as, we were in the room, and she was like, you remind me, like, your music and your vibe, you remind me of a female Luke Bryan at the time. And I was like, oh, I love Luke Bryan, and he has such a great fan base. Like, he's just so much fun. So thank you. What a compliment. And then we, like, just jokingly kind of were talking about how strong his fan base is and how he's on the TV, he's on the radio, he's at the beach, he's everywhere his music is. So you can't escape him, and it's kind of what we played off of. But we don't want to escape him because we love his music. And I have not met him. I have heard he has heard it. But I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it. So it could have been just a tale. So we'll see.
So we still have to manifest that
happening. We still have to manifest it. I would be maybe a little embarrassed now. I've had, American Idol reach out. And so I know they've heard it, too, and wanted me to go on there. But I feel like I have better songs now. And honestly, it was just so early on in my career. I still have people come up to me, though, and say, I love Me and Luke. That's one of my favorite songs. And I'm like, that was just such a fun song to write and release, and it was harmless. And I'm glad people liked it, though. So one day I'll meet Luke.
Well, let's say American Idol was like, here's $1 million to come on the show and perform Me and Luke in front of Luke Bryan. Would you perform it as is, or would you update it?
That's a really good question. I don't know. I would definitely consider updating it, but I think there's a charm in what it was and what it is, and I love it for what it is. So I'd probably just leave it alone and just make it quirky and fun, and I think Luke would dance along with me. It'd be a good time.
He probably would.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to the beginning.
Yes.
You're in Ohio. You're a little bitty baby. You're growing up. When does it become apparent that music is the gig?
Well, I've always been really into music. I was a competitive dancer, so I feel music really deeply, and a gymnast and a cheerleader. But I started voice lessons in 5th grade. I just always was singing music in the house, and my parents were like, "Hey, you're actually pretty good. Would you want to take voice lessons?" And I was so afraid, but I was like, "Yeah, I mean, if you think I'm okay, if I should." And they've always been there to kind of give me that confidence, which I'm very grateful for their support. And it all started with them because I don't know if I would have had the courage to do it. And from there, my vocal teacher, who was amazing growing up, she pushed me to do musicals. And so I fell in love with musicals. And she just introduced me to this whole new world I knew nothing about, songwriting and recording. And that's what brought me down here to Nashville to go to Belmont, because she heard about it and she was like, "I think you'd like this school." And I'm like, "You're right. I would love this school and I love this town." And that's kind of where it all started. I just started taking voice lessons and really developing my love for music. And growing up in my town, you don't really think these things are possibilities. I moved to Nashville and I learned people were going to songwriting camps for years, and I'm like, I didn't know that was a thing, I didn't know that existed. So I felt a little behind. I felt very green, but it wasn't going to stop me from trying this thing. I didn't want to live with any what ifs,
And you're a twin?
I am a twin, yes. So
is she musical too?
She is. She'll say she's not. We're more of like Rihanna and Eminem. She's my rapper and then I'll sing the big parts. But, this was I grew up as a twin, and so this was one of the most difficult things in my life because I had to kind of do it all on my own. And my whole life I was used to doing everything with my twin sister, who I love so much. But this is kind of my own route and my independence, which is pretty cool.
Your family seems really close.
Yes.
You actually wrote a song with your mom.
I did. I wrote a song with my mom. She has so many great ideas. I think in another life she would be a songwriter, or if we can make that happen in this life, that would be great too. We were talking about, I've written a couple songs with her, so it's just always such a joy. And especially my Mama's Due song is about her, even though I didn't write it with her. She got the star in the music video. She's just very important. Obviously to me, but to my music career too. She understands it all, and she's a fantastic writer. She brings a different perspective. She's a mom. She's gone through stuff. She's older, and I don't write with that many older, I guess, people. Sometimes I do, but when it's your mom, you can really be vulnerable in the room, and you kind of get a different experience because I can be like, no, let's try harder for this line and really be vocal and challenge us both. But it's something I'll always get to look back on. I thought at the end of the day, some people tried to deter me from it, and I was like, well, I would love to share this one day with my children and see, look, Grandma and I wrote this song together, and it's out into the world, and have them be proud of it. So I'm really proud of it. I'm sure there are more to come. That's all we talk about. We love music so much, and it's great that I can have my mom to write with and run ideas by. And she can tell me they suck.
Well, I hope she doesn't, though.
She'll be like, I don't know about that one. I'm like, okay.
Okay. So the one song that you wrote was White Dress Worthy.
Yes.
And you not only married, apparently, a white dress worthy man, but you're in Southern Bride magazine.
I know.
In your white dress.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. They wrote a beautiful article about my wedding. I'm very grateful for them. It was beautiful. That day was a dream. I wrote that song with my mom, and she always was telling me, she's told me so much. It's just... Sorry, I'm trying not to get emotional about it, but
That's okay. Emotions are welcome here.
Thank you. But she's just the best. She's, don't settle for less. Wait till you find someone that is your perfect someone. They are out there. And that's kind of where it all came to be. And we were talking about that and having a deep conversation. And she said, wait till you find someone who is white dress worthy. And I was like, well, I think that's a song and we got to write it. And so that's how that song came to be. But And I did find my white dress worthy. Yes, we've known each other for a very long time. We got married. Southern Bride did a beautiful, beautiful expose on it. It was amazing. So very grateful.
Weddings can be pretty stressful leading up to the day. Did having this big magazine there add to the stress at all, or was it just another element of the party?
Just another element. You don't really know what's going on. You're in a blur. Having a wedding, planning a wedding is so much fun. It's so much work. And to see it all kind of pay off on that one day, it's like literally everything I ever dreamed of and more. And I didn't even know it was possible. And so I'm glad that I had, something to look back on and all the beautiful pictures, but also got to share it with all my fans too. And so Southern Bride helped me share the most important day of my life with so many of my fans who are invested in me and my music and my life. And I'm very grateful for that.
We'll put a link to the article in the show notes
thank you.
So that people can see what we're talking about, because it is really beautiful.
Thank you.
So back to Belmont, having talked to a number of Belmont graduates on the show, as you can imagine, and I'm actually friends with some professors there. My intern goes to Belmont.
Yeah.
I feel like that place just does a really great job of setting people up for life in the music business, no matter which part of the music business you are diving into. But obviously, you don't just walk into a town full of people who are trying to be stars and become a star right away.
Man, if it was only that easy.
Right?
If
there was unlimited room for all of the stars.
I know.
But did you know going in that struggle is a little bit harder for women?
Interesting. Yes. I already kind of felt it. You feel outnumbered. I will say something. I just really struggled with the fact that there are just so many insanely talented songwriters, musicians, artists, all of the above at Belmont. And I was immediately kind of put into my shell because I was already very anxious and nervous about moving to a big city and trying to chase this dream because I didn't think I was good enough. I was so fearful. And so being surrounded by all of these talented people was inspiring, but yet very intimidating and daunting at the same time. And then especially as a woman, add that on top of it, right? But as time has gone on, I'm very grateful that I stayed here and I persevered. And I think women are killing it right now. It is a woman's game, and I'm so proud of everyone. I feel like we all got each other's back, and I think that's the most important thing. We're all rooting for each other, so that's all that matters. We just got to keep bringing each other up, and I think we can do some cool things with that.
And you're one who does walk that talk, as I like to say. Is the Female Diaries series still a thing?
No, oh my goodness. No, it's not a thing anymore. No.
But you did. It was an all-girls writers round.
Yes, I hosted an all-girls writers round, just trying to promote, women in music, women in country music. I think we actually did all different genres, too. Just welcomed it all in. It was a place where women of music could come and be appreciated and share their talents. And it was so much fun. That's crazy. Yes, we should bring that back. But I am a song suffragette, so I love being a part of that.
Which is also a great all-female songwriters
killer
organization.
Females. Yeah, it's awesome. I love it.
Last August, I saw where you had opened for Carly Pearce, and she gave you some good advice.
Oh my gosh. Carly Pearce is such a sweetheart. I've looked up to her for so long. When I met her backstage, I kind of snuck my way into her meet and greet and was like, hey. I was the last one hanging around. And,
hi, it's me.
Yeah, right. She's like, I want to go. What are you talking about? No, she wasn't. She was so sweet about it. And yeah, she just was like, keep going. Put your head down, keep going. Anything can happen. Anything can change your life. This one song changed my life. And I'm like, I know. I aspire to be like you. I listen to you, your lyrics. Thank you so much for being so vulnerable and open about everything. That means so much to us as artists, also about her journey and her life. But she said, you just never know. And I was like, I know. But it's still so hard to keep the faith and keep going. And I think she kind of said, even at her stage in her career right now, she still feels like that. She's like, it'll always be hard, but you just got to keep going because one moment could change your life. You just never know. And she gave me a lot of motivation.
Because
grateful.
Even for somebody like Carly, having a hit song doesn't guarantee that you're going to be included with the next song.
Yeah.
Especially for women. I mean, it's not a guarantee for any artist, but there are some examples of men who put out a song and it doesn't matter. It could be they're singing the alphabet and it would get radio airplay and it would be included on playlists. And that's not always true for women.
It's like kind of like right when you reach that mountaintop, you got to go right back down and get back up the next mountain. It doesn't stop. It's not a guarantee, like you said. Yeah.
How else do you feel like you've been supported by other women in the industry and vice versa? How are you giving the support as well?
I always love commenting on my friends' social media, sharing their posts, sharing their new music. I mean, I feel like that's very natural to me. Like, I love cheering my girls on. I want everyone to succeed. I've never felt like this town is a competition because we're all on different paths. We're all doing different things, and we're all going to get there one way or another. I'm genuinely happy for every woman and men, but every woman that is just killing it in the game and getting these incredible opportunities. And all my friends, I'm always there to text them like, hey, congratulations on this. I'm so proud you deserve this. When they get a pub deal, when they're opening for someone big or going on a tour or just releasing music is so hard. You put blood, sweat, and tears into this music, and it's a lot that goes into it, and I know how hard it is, so I'm always just trying to be there for them and let them know that, we hear it, we listen, you're appreciated, and your hard work does not go unnoticed. I have a lot of great friends in this industry that I'm very grateful for. And I feel the love back from them.
It used to be that the definition really of success in the music industry was to get a record deal or to get played on the radio.
Yeah.
And obviously those definitions have continued to evolve probably several times just since you've been in town. What is your definition of success right now?
My definition of success. It's so hard because you're right. It has changed so much, right? Like, it could be as little as, I don't know, getting 1 million followers on TikTok because that's kind of the new territory. But I think my true definition of success would be just to have people out there listening to my music and traveling the world with it and trying to get to as many people as I can. And sometimes one of the best pieces of advice I ever had was my guitar teacher, who's also my therapist and my mentor, Shane Lamb at Green Hills Guitar Studio. He was like, this isn't rocket science. We're not doing brain surgery. So when we get all up in our head and we're just very much overwhelmed and, start getting very discouraged, he's like, hey, it ain't that deep. Like, we get to play music and heal people like that for a living. And that's success to me. So at the end of the day, yeah, would it be really cool to play the Grand Ole Opry? Would it be really cool to open up for all my favorite artists? Yes. But I think at the end of the day, success for me is just getting my music out there to people who need it and people who want to hear it.
And you've been doing that pretty consistently.
Yeah, I used to say, I'm just trying to live the dream, but I am living the dream. I'm releasing music, I'm writing every day, I'm recording it, I'm playing shows, I'm interacting with my fans, I'm on social media. I'm doing the thing. Nothing's going to change. It's going to hopefully keep growing to a bigger scale, but yeah, I'm living the dream. Been doing it for a minute now.
Yeah. I mean, you put out your first EP like 5 minutes after you graduated from Belmont.
I did because, you think you're in a rush to keep going. That's the biggest thing. You move here and you think you're already behind. Mm-hmm. And I've had people that have are freshmen at Belmont and they're like, I'm behind. I'm like, no, you're not. Please enjoy college. Network. It's so important. Like, Belmont was such an amazing place to network and to meet people. We're constantly in the state of feeling like we're behind and we're not. We're just on our own journey. So
that's the problem with comparing. I think social media sort of creates that feeling that you're behind because you see people, whether they're just showing you a highlight or not, it makes it look like they are so far ahead of you.
It's all smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
You can't believe everything on social media, and you just can't compare. And that is one of the hardest things I think about being in this industry is you kind of have to put on your blinders and you just have to know you're on a different path, and that path is going to be amazing too. But you can't compare your journey to someone else's, Well,
you've put out a few EPs since that first one, including one that's all covers, and not just any covers. These are mostly songs from before you were born. You Can't Make Old Friends was legendary singers, not that old of a song.
Yeah.
But old songs nonetheless.
Yeah.
What made you choose those particular songs? What made you do an EP of covers?
So during the pandemic, we had a lot of time to think and reflect. And I was like, why did I get into this? What artists, what music made me want to chase this dream? And so I started listening back to some older country music, and I picked songs that I forgot about that I love so much, that bring up so many great memories. And so I decided to do an acoustic cover EP during the pandemic to keep us busy. I picked four songs, and one's a Patti Loveless song, one's a Pam Tillis song, and I've gotten to meet her since, and she is just so amazing. Maybe it was Memphis. Blame It On Your Heart by Patti Loveless. We did a duet with Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton, of course, and Who I Am by Jessica Andrews, which is one of my favorite songs. I sing it out in my sets, and everyone's like, I forgot about that song. And I'm like, it's amazing, isn't it? They're like, yes, like, thank you for bringing that back. So for me, it was just something that I felt was on my heart. We wanted to do something during the pandemic, and writing was a little bit difficult, and I was like, well, why don't we release some covers of my favorite songs that are huge reasons why I'm here today? And so that's where it started. And we even got Janae Fleener, who is like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, 6, time, musician of the year, to play on it and be in some videos. And I did some shows with her too. So it was a successful COVID or pandemic. We were busy. So it was great.
Yeah, it seems like it could have really done a lot of damage to a lot of music careers. But the fact that everybody's music career was stopped at the same time.
Yeah, you're right.
It allowed, I think, some people to move forward a little bit more than they may have been able to otherwise.
Yeah, it was you had to figure out what you were going to do, how to take advantage of it. I am sure some of the bigger artists were like this much happy that they could be home with their families and not on the road. But I also think they all were itching to get back out on the road, and we were all itching to go to concerts and see our favorite artists. So the pandemic definitely changed a lot of things, but my goal was to try to make the most of it. I picked up guitar and was like, if I'm going to be inside, this is the perfect way. And I did virtual lessons, and I'm still doing them. I'm still not amazing, but hey, at least I learned and I was productive during those few years.
That's really cool. Last summer, you put out an EP called Growing Wings. Yeah. So in terms of learning and growth, what is different about Karissa Ella on the 2018 EP and Karissa on the 2025 EP?
My goodness. So much is different. I feel like she's more mature. She's finding her voice. She's finding her sound. She's very nostalgic. And she's realizing what is important to her in life. She loves fun songs, but her family, her hometown is really, really important. And she's writing about what she knows. I don't think she did that in the past. I think she was having fun. She was learning. And so that's what's different. It's a little bit more pop. This is a little bit more country. But I'm really proud of her. And, I'm proud of the growth. When I get down on myself, because I'm very hard on myself, I think about how far I've come. And I listen to these old songs that I cringe at now, but they're a piece of me, They're very special. I think the hardest thing in this industry is just getting started. And those are my starts. And I have to be proud of it. So every time I release music, I try to hear that growth. And even with new music that we have, I feel like it's even more mature and it has more growth. And that's always my goal. So I'm very proud of all my bodies of work, but I'm very also glad to see the growth in my voice and in my songwriting.
How do you push through those moments where imposter syndrome gets super loud and you find yourself comparing your path to somebody else's or just worrying about anything? How do you push through those moments when you start to feel down on yourself?
It's so hard. Imposter syndrome is so real. And I think you said it great, when it gets loud, you have to put in those earplugs and you can't listen to the noise because it's too loud. And you have to kind of bring yourself back down. And like I said, my mentor, Shane, and guitar teacher said, this isn't rocket science. It's not that deep. We're just here to have fun. And we have a pretty cool job. So I kind of have to, take all the emotions out of it for a second and be like, wait, this is supposed to be fun. And if I'm not enjoying it, then let's not do it. But I do enjoy it. I love every aspect of it. I feel like I'm getting better and better every day. I feel like it's just the beginning, So I think you just have to quiet the noise. But it's a lot easier said than done because imposter syndrome is something I really struggle with. But you just have to be confident in yourself and confident in your talents and what you're doing, and I think you will succeed. And you have to believe in yourself. If you don't, then I think it's going to be really hard.
I would go so far as to say that Imposter Syndrome is the biggest star in this town.
It is the biggest star. That's beautiful. Imposter Syndrome is the biggest star in this town. Absolutely true.
Literally every single person, specifically in this business, me included, have imposter syndrome at some point. So.
It's just, I remember I saw an interview once of Alona Mayer. She's an influencer. And someone asked her that, like, dealing with imposter syndrome. And her response was, I don't know. I've never had it because I truly do feel like I have deserved everything that I've worked hard for. And I thought that was so interesting because why do we feel like we don't deserve these things that we did work hard for? So I do keep that in mind too, because it's true.
Good. If I'm not mistaken, Growing Wings was the most recent thing you put out.
Yes.
But that's about to change.
It is. We have some new music. We've been holding on to it for a minute, just trying to figure it out. We went in the studio. We spent a lot of winter and spring in the studio, and I'm really excited about it. Yeah, we have a new single coming out July 24th. So it's called The Country. It's going to be different. These next couple songs are going to be... I'll just leave it at that. They're going to be a little bit more different. They all have their own vibe. I really love all of these songs. Some are fun, some are meaningful and emotional, and I'm just trying to get back to like my Midwest roots.
The Country does that. I listened to it.
You did? What'd you think?
I really liked it.
It's a fun summer song,
Where
right?
did it come from?
Well, I wrote it with my songwriters, my friends, Garrett John and Cassidy Best, and we were just talking about how beautiful this city is, but how sometimes we wish we kind of like could move outside and live in the country and have our own garden and grow a bunch of stuff and live on a farm. And people forget that everything at the end of the day comes from the country when you're living in this big city. Everything that helped build this city came from the country, and everything we use all the time is from the country, from the milk, from the cotton, from the denim, everything we eat, everything we use, it all kind of traces back to the country, the coal, the wood, you know what I mean, everything. So it's an ode to, and a thank you kind of to all of the hardworking men and women who are on the farms and in the factories that are making it happen and making the world go around, because without them, we wouldn't have all these amazing things.
Amen.
So it's
Hallelujah.
fun. Yeah.
And it's definitely going on the Girl Crush Country playlist.
Oh, thank
when
you.
It comes out, of
I
course.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes. Any album plans?
Maybe. I haven't done an album yet.
Yeah.
We're very curious about that, my team and I. I would really love to do an album. I've done like 4 or 5 EPs. I'm like, do I do another EP? Come on, let's do an album. But that's when imposter syndrome comes in, and that's when perfectionism comes in, and I'm learning to just kind of go with the process. Like, nothing's ever going to be perfect and nothing's ever going to be right. Like, just, you got to put out music. It's been holding me back for so long. I've been wanting to put these songs out for a minute, but I've kept stopping them. Like, it's not right timing yet. Then I was like, it's never going to be the right timing. Time for everyone to hear what I've been working on. And I think an album might be in the mix. If not, definitely some type of project. That's the goal. I think my listeners and my fans want that. I think they want an album. They want more music. So I'm going to give it to them. I'm going to listen.
We're going to keep an eye out for it. Karissa, Ella, it's been so great meeting you. I'm so happy that you could come by the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. And if you love what we're doing here, which is elevating the voices of women in country music, join us. You can help. You can do that by smashing the subscribe button here. You can share this episode with your friends, comment your favorite Karissa Ella song, then follow us on the socials, wear the merch, and subscribe to the weekly newsletter at girlcrushcountry.com.